Hi everyone and welcome back. In this video, I'll be taking you through Agile and Waterfall delivery and how it relates to enterprise release management. I'll be showing you what it is like to manage a project in a large corporate and compare the delivery approach for both Agile and Waterfall projects. Large organizations, particularly those in financial services, have very strict regulatory and compliance requirements. There are a multitude of systems running on different technology stacks. With so many systems, so many changes, and so many environments, organizations often choose to release changes into production in a controlled and structured approach on a quarterly basis. This is known as enterprise release management. This is a multidisciplinary IT governance framework used for managing software delivery across various systems and business units in a large organization. There may be some projects that can release changes outside these enterprise release cycles, but they would often have to be isolated changes, which is not that common in today's complex world. Enterprise release management will often have prescribed release dates, published a year in advance. For the one project that you are accountable to deliver, you are likely to have to manage changes across many different systems, from the front end, such as customer websites or employer intranet, to middleware systems, which is a glue connecting disparate systems, to back-end systems such as old legacy core product administration systems used to process loans or core banking systems written decades ago in data warehouses. It is also likely that there will be various projects going on at the same time and that your project is touching the same systems as other projects. This is a very typical situation in large organizations. You will need to carefully manage the interdependencies of the system changes to ensure that any dependent changes are delivered on time and makes it into the enterprise release cycle.
Now let's take a look at the enterprise release management system in more detail. Let's assume that there are 6 systems that need to change as part of the enterprise release and that there are 2 projects running. You're running one of the projects and your colleague runs the second project. Now let's assume project 1 makes changes to the customer website, the Salesforce CRM system, and the finance GL system. Project 2 makes changes to the middleware systems, the core product loan system, and also the same Salesforce CRM system as Project 1, and finally, the core product deposit system. This slide shows the various systems that need to change for both Project 1 and 2, and that all 6 systems eventually come together for the enterprise release testing and the subsequent go live. Quite often, each system will have its own predefined delivery methodology. Project 1 will involve the delivery of the requirements, design, build, and system tests of the 3 systems. Project 2 will likewise involve the delivery of the requirements, design, build, and system testing of 4 systems, one of which is shared with Project 1. I'll explain the difference between Agile and Waterfall delivery in the next slide. After system testing is complete, and usually at the same time, all the systems will enter the enterprise release testing phase, where they will be interconnected for the various phases, and where the data will be aligned across all the systems. You'll see that there are interconnected enterprise environments, prescribed phases and release dates, and system integration testing occurs, followed by user acceptance testing, and the stress volume performance testing. In addition, if there's any security or penetration testing required, in particular for customer websites and mobile, for example, any dry runs are performed and go, no-go decisions are made. During the latter part of the enterprise release cycle, planned system outages are identified, production support is readied, documentation for a handover to production support and release notes are made, and contingency and rollback plans are written, just in case the code needs to be rolled back to its existing state should the deployment or testing fail. The code is deployed to production, that is, it is migrated from a non-production environment such as UAT into production. As part of the deployment to production, the code undergoes technical verification testing. And then once all the system changes have completed this testing, it will undergo business verification testing to validate as much as possible the changes are now live and can be signed off. This slide shows the difference between Agile and Waterfall delivery. Both Agile and Waterfall will result in requirements, design, build, and system tests. However, how they're done are very, very different. Let's take a look at Agile. Often, In Agile, they will use a Scrum framework. This will involve a backlog of epics and user stories. It will also involve Agile ceremonies. It will usually have sprints of 2 weeks, and within the 2 weeks you will have sprint planning, the daily stand-ups, usually of 15 minutes for the daily stand-ups each morning, sprint reviews and showcases, sprint retrospectives. The concept of continuous integration and deployment is very important from an Agile perspective, as you'll be continually integrating and deploying code. Backlog refinement sessions will also be involved, and this will build up your backlog of user stories for future sprints. A minimum viable product is a very important concept to control the scope within Agile. And the Scrum Master and the product owners will be heavily involved in Agile delivery. From a waterfall perspective, it is often sequential phases. It will involve business requirements documentation, system design document, a functional specification, build, code walkthroughs, unit testing, and system testing. Change requests is how scope is changed within a waterfall delivery method. Documentation sign-offs and approvals are done, and development managers and business or system owners are heavily involved in waterfall delivery. Systems developed using Agile and Waterfall all come together in the quarterly enterprise testing and release management, followed by Go Live.